you get injuries. You hate to hear about them, right? You don't want them. They stink. But football is a violent sport. It's a violent game. You have to practice. You can't put the guys in bubble wrap and roll them out there during practice. Sometimes you have non-contact injuries in football. Those happen, and it's part of the game. And so, hate it for Jayden Gibson, hate it for Jaden Sellers, hate it for this team. Jaden Sellers was going to play a lot this year. There's zero doubt about it. So I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, definitely some tough news coming out of the scrimmage.
I mean, it is probably my least favorite thing about football, honestly. My least favorite thing about sports is that you are going to have injuries, and football, such a just physical game, and these things are going to happen. But doesn't mean that it stinks any less for these guys who have busted their tails, trying to get in a position to make an impact. We talk about it all the time, Chris. It's such a year-round sport that to have that taken away, man, it is tough physically, but it's tough mentally as well. So certainly going to send well wishes to Jaden Sellers and Jayden Gibson. From a football standpoint, yeah, it stinks too. Like, this is someone, especially with Jaden Sellers, who was projected to play a big role on your team. How big, I think, was going to be determined by, to an extent, Chris, the next few weeks. As we talked about it actually on Friday, that Mazio Bennett and Jaden Sellers were kind of fighting for that starting slot role. And so, I think that probably makes Mazio a fairly safe projection now as your starting slot receiver. That's a position where we've talked about it. There's a lot of roles that are up for grabs. There's a lot of competition in that room. And so, I thought JC made a good point. I was on with he and Mike Morgan earlier today. And, as much as we do talk about the talent in that receiver room, losing Jaden Sellers, you are losing a guy who, the latter part of last year was very productive. Like, he got things done and, has proven it at the major college football level. So it's not a loss. It is a loss. It's somebody you were going to be counting on. But I also think realistically, it's a position where now Mazio Bennett, he's getting his shot. And, he was going to get a shot anyway, but it sort of solidifies that. I think you got to look at these receiver spots too. I've seen some takes out there too, man, on social media where, people are slotting like wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. It doesn't really necessarily work like that. And, I think there's still a huge battle. Anybody beyond Nick Harbor, and now I would say Mazio in the slot, if you're just saying, this guy, that guy, I think you're getting ahead of yourself on that. But right now, I think Mazio, your starter, Sequel Patterson probably slides potentially into a backup role there in the slot, and maybe speeds up his path towards playing time. And but you just got to remember, like, you kind of have your outside receivers, your X's and your Z's. There's a little bit of maybe interchangeability in that, but then your slot guys are your smaller, quicker, underneath route a lot of time, make you miss, run after the catch type guys. So it's not the same position, even if it is the same position room.